Recording in progress.
Okay, so council has now risen from the closed session, in which we just had a education and training with our integrity commissioner. And I would just ask for a mover and a seconder to accept those reports for information. Councillor Westman and Deputy Mayor Manders, all in favor, and that's carried. We don't have a delegation at this time, but we do have to adopt the minutes from our last meeting, which was December 19th. I trust that you've all had an opportunity to go through them, and if nothing has to be amended, I'd ask for a mover and a seconder to approve those as circulated. Councillor Hodgins and Deputy Mayor Manders, all in favor, and that's carried. I don't think that there was any business arising from that. Oh, the top two actually were added, the tree power program and the cost analysis for Parks and Rec. And those are coming back. Moving on to correspondence, there was one item that we received that has been pulled for discussion by staff. And I think, Ron, you're going to speak to that.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. The Housing Enabling Water Systems Fund was announced in, I believe it was November, by the province. We are closely looking at that. The good news is it does seem to align pretty close to our needs as far as the expansion to the sewage treatment plant goes. The eligible project costs, maybe cost share between the province at a maximum rate of 73%, and the recipient the remaining 27%. Obviously, that's a pretty attractive split. So that's the good news. The bad news is it's the province's announcement is 200 million over 3 years, and it did not restrict access to that fund to any municipality, for example, under 50,000 or anything like that. So we are put in the same pool as the City of Toronto, the City of London, places like that. However, we are going to do what we can here. We do have a meeting coming up with Minister Surma at Roma, so we will continue to press our needs with the ministry. So at this point, it's for information only. I know Jeff Little has contacted BM Ross, who is our consultant on the sewage treatment plant expansion project. So we will endeavor to keep council up to date on what's happening with that grant program.
Thanks for that. I know that the intake is supposed to open up the end of January, so I would hope that we could be as close to getting something ready for that application as possible, because I do think it'll be competitive. There's no question, but I think the more and we're fairly along in that process, and I think BM Ross is coming to council at our next meeting for an update on that project. But certainly I think if we can be as close to getting an application in the end of January, beginning of February, and as you say, we're going to Roma and we have the delegation with Minister Surma, we can certainly speak to the application and all of that then. So that's good. Any questions on that one? There were other items that were received over the holidays, not many. Did council have any questions or comments on those? Councillor Regan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I did have one, was number 3, resolution City of Stratford for the, I read was the more business. I'm just trying to remember the title about businesses. And it was just a letter I think about CBA loans and for businesses. And I'm just wondering, because we're thinking about our downtown improvement, that I don't know if that's something we could investigate. Unfortunately, sorry, so it's my fault. I didn't have a lot of time to investigate it any further, but I was just wondering if it's something we could have staff look at to see if that's something that we could get involved in, or perhaps even support the City of Stratford with their letter. I'm just wondering if that's something or resolution for that, if we could. Again, I don't know that much about it. I just thought it was interesting that it was just something that again, something that we're looking forward to as far as economic development.
So maybe before we support this, maybe staff could look into more information on the
Would-
CEBA loan business.
Would be my request if I
Okay.
could, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so we can have staff look into that. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Any other items on correspondence list? Then can I get a mover and a seconder to receive those items for information? Deputy Mayor Manders, Councillor Regan. All in favor? And that's carried. I think I can safely go through that there is no committee reports that have happened since Christmas, since the 19th. And I don't believe that there's any staff reports either, so we'll move right into councillor comments. Anything? Okay, there's no changes to budget, notices of motion. So in front of us, we've just got 3 bylaws, and they are, the first one is bylaw 01-2024, being a bylaw to provide for the interim tax levies for the year 2024. Bylaw 02-2024, being a bylaw to establish various fees and charges for the township of Lucan Biddulph. And bylaw 03-2024, the confirming bylaw. So a mover and a seconder for that. If no one cares to speak to bylaws 01-2024 through 03-2024 inclusive on their first, second, and third reading, that they be considered to have been read a first time and passed, read a second time and passed, read a third time and passed. Councillor Hodgins and Councillor Westman, all in favor? And that's carried. And a motion to adjourn at 9:21. A mover and a seconder, Councillor Regan, Deputy Mayor Manders, all in favor, and that's carried.